Now we want to write an equation in slope-intercept form, and then identify the slope and the y-intercept. Well, right now it's not in slope-intercept form, because in order to be in slope-intercept form, the y variable must be by itself. So we have to maneuver everything around in order to get y by itself. So right now there's a 2x and a minus 15 that are with the y that we need to move to the other side. So remember, to move to the other side, we're going to do the opposite. So we can add 15. So 2x plus 3y equals 15. Now we want to move that 2x over, so I'm going to subtract 2x from both sides. I'm going to write the negative 2x in the front because in y equals mx plus b, the x comes first. We still have that 3, so now we need to divide each side by 3. If we can divide nicely, we should, and if not, we're going to leave things as fractions. I know we hate fractions, but for slope, because it's rise over run, a fraction is actually more helpful than a decimal would be. So we're going to leave it as negative 2/3 x plus 15. Identify the slope, that's negative 2/3, and the y-intercept, oops, just kidding, it's not 15. 15 divided by 3 is 5, and the y-intercept is 5. Let's try another one. 12 equals 10y minus 3x. So again, we're going to start by moving the terms without a y to the other side. So I'm going to add 3x. So 10y will equal 3x plus 12. I have a number with y, the 10, so I need to divide both sides by 10. 3 does not divide by 10 nicely, so I leave it as 3/10. 12 does not divide by 10 nicely, however, it can be reduced. So I do need to divide by 2 on the top and the bottom to reduce my fraction to 6/5. That means our slope is 3/10 and the y-intercept is 6/5, or 1.2. Now we want to do the same thing, but this time we're going to graph these equations. So again, we need to get y by itself first. So I'm going to start by subtracting 4x. So negative 3y will equal negative 4x plus 24. This time I need to divide by negative 3. My slope becomes a positive because it's a negative divided by a negative. And then my y-intercept becomes negative 8. That means I'm going to begin down at negative 8. And my rise over my run is 4/3. And Mr. Slopeman tells me that this line should rise from left to right. So I begin at negative 8, then I'm going to rise 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and run 3. Now you don't have to draw these lines here, it's just helpful for me with this app, and also then you can see where the slope comes from. So now we're going to rise another 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then run another 3. So now that we have a few points, we can connect our dots. And we've graphed the equation 24 equals 4x minus 3, or in simpler terms, y equals 4/3 x minus 8. Let's try one more. 5x minus 2y equals negative 4. Again, we have to move any term without a y to the other side. So we get negative 2y. Remember, this sign stays with the term that's after it. So negative 2y equals negative 5x minus 4. Then I'm going to divide both sides by negative 2. So y equals 5/2x plus 2. Both turn to positives because they're negatives divided by negatives. So for this graph, I'm going to begin at 2 on the y-axis. So our y-intercept here is 2. I'm also then going to use my slope, 5/2. to rise 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then run 2. But I've run out of room now. So instead of rising 5 and running 2, I'm going to drop down 5. And then I'm going to go left 2. The reason I can do that is because 2 negatives make a positive, and it still gives me a line with positive slope.